Yes, who objects?
Who is the guy? Michael Caine objects and says, one man should never say that to another man.
Michael Caine is a legend. Is this on?
It is.
Okay, well, we should probably introduce everyone to the... Oh, thanks, Mark.
You're welcome,
This is
Jim.
the Ascertainers. We are in our advanced 30-plus episode. We can't say which one this will be because we've got so many options that we just don't know which one you're going to get and what order this one will come out in. But the Ascertainers are Mark.
Hello, everyone. And I'd like to say, are we going to number them when we reach 1,007? So maybe we should stop numbering them.
I think we should just stop using the word we if you're going to go that high. I don't think it will. I think one of us will beat the other to death, probably before the 40th. So,
wow, that was very bad at the beginning here, during our tight intro.
Yeah, we're trying to do a tight intro, so let's throw that out the window. Anyway, I'm Jim. The Ascertainers are Mark and Jim. We are two former neighbors for 20 years. Now we're just friends. Mark came up with this idea for something to do on Friday nights. Here we are. It's almost 7 months later. We're in our, whatever.
Third trimester?
I feel like that. Yeah, technically. Yeah, we could have had a kid. If, whatever. There's a lot of other topics going on there. But, so seasons, though. We kind of started in late winter, got through spring, summer, and now here we are in fall. We got to set the clocks back tomorrow, which sucks. But
anyway, we started in a snowstorm.
We did.
And we just had another snowstorm.
We had a Halloween storm in Minnesota. So Mark and I are from Minnesota. Mark's retired. I still like what I do for a living, so I'm going to still do it. And, both married, couple of kids each. DNA tests are still pending on a couple of them, but everything seems to be in order. And that's us. That's what we do. And we are sponsored by Newt's in Apple Valley, Minnesota. I have to do a quick shout out because we just met two people there that are aspiring podcasters whose ideas are so far above ours. Corey and Emily, hi, shout out. Hope you listened. I said we'll try to get it at the top of the episode so they wouldn't have to listen long. So you guys can go tune out and listen to good podcasts now. But they had some good ideas. Like, they are a married couple, and they, like us, they certainly, well, whatever. Yeah, I know. Don't do it. But anyway, they will reserve certain conversations for when they go sit in the hot tub at the gym, and their water bottles have wine in them, and they sound like really cool. But then they'll talk about the shit that they've kind of stored up all week, and I'm like, wow, and it was called Hot Tubics, like topics, but Tubics. Yeah. It's pretty good. So if they ever come out with it, you heard it here first. But please listen to. By the way, how's that working out? Please listen to ours and then theirs, because that's how it goes. So yeah. Anyway, so we're also looking for a tight Newt's promo. Jeepers creepers. Newt's in Apple Valley is a suddenly. It's like 2 years. It's been open for like 2 years, and every once in a while, it blows up, and even the Ascertainers have to wait for a table. So, I don't want to discourage you from going there because you might have to wait. I mean, if it's a good restaurant, you should have to wait. But we actually snuck in and got seats at the bar.
Which we're very happy about that.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. And then we got cool people around us the whole time, so it was really good. But, Newt's. I had the chicken bacon ranch sandwich. Tremendous. You had the smash okie with a non-meat patty.
I did. Very good.
What'd you think? But you don't like onions. Did you eat the onions?
I like the flavor of onions, so I scraped them off after the bun and the patty.
All right, you made it work. Did you not know, though, that there was going to be onions on it?
No, I knew that. I liked it. Like a White Castle, I like the onions, but I I like the flavor of it, but I don't like it overpowering, so I scrape the onions off so you still get that little flavoring.
Would it be fair, this is for my wife, would it be fair to say you like a suggestion of onions?
Wow, that is very...
Fantastic.
Speaking of which, I met a person next to me that said she saw me doing that. Said when you go order onion rings, break them open, pull the onion out, and then
Just eat the fried part?
But you get the hint of onion in there because she hates onions also. So
That's like when you're doing heroin. Just do the skip the needle and just rub it on you. I mean, that's a weird concept. Hey, get some onion rings, take the onions out, and just eat the...
I'm going to try it.
I can't wait to not be with you when you do that. I was going to say something, though, and it just escaped me. It had to do with...
Newt.
Totally had to do with Newts and people sitting around us, and it'll come back to me. And your burger.
Very good burger.
Of all things. Oh, Todd joined us tonight. The ascertainers were born in the back booth of Newt's, and it was Mark and Jim. That's us. And then a guy named Todd who lives... We used to all live like we were like the Orion's belt of neighbors. Like boom, Jim, Mark, Todd. And then Mark got sick of Todd and I and left. But
no, I still like Todd.
Now it's like some kind of... It's like Cygnus or some other constellation. Shout out Cygnus X1. What's up, Rush fans? So anyway, we lost our geometric order, but we still remain friends, and it's good to catch up. And Todd was going to come on, even though he swore he never would, but he apparently has to work in the morning. But a couple of weeks we'll have Todd on.
We'll wear him down. Get him on.
It'll be very good. So would you like to play the radio game, Mark?
Sure. Are you done with the Newts promo?
I did, yeah. Oh, technically... We talked about a little bit of Newt's, but Newt's in Apple Valley is it's like, I'd like to just go get a burger and a beer, a good chicken sandwich and a beer, go to Newt's. You'll get a bowl of hot popcorn when you sit down, good music on the overhead. You want to burn some pull tabs, you can do that there. But see if your server is named Sarah or Kayla or MJ or Andy. Ask to speak with Corey, the manager, and tell him the ascertainer sent you. That'll keep us in our sponsorship, which is where Mark and I each get a free beer when we go in. And if people don't start saying it, we might have to start paying half price for those beers and still consider it a win. So
we would.
No, we love going there. We always meet new friends there or new people there, and I think you should go there too.
And we met one of your neighbors. Yep. One of my old neighbors were there.
Yep.
It was good to see them. I haven't seen them in a while. Audie, Amy.
Oh, fuck. We met. Usually we say Audie and then don't say their whole name, but, And then we saw Eric and Anna, too. Somebody bought me a beer other than Newt's tonight. It was great.
That was. But you reciprocated, which was very nice of you.
I sent the same beer back to their table. That's what I think reciprocated means.
Well, you sent a Kahlua drink also, didn't you?
Or is that when you chew the food up and spit it in their mouth? Is that reciprocation?
Kind of.
I didn't do that. I sent them a Bailey's on Ice. That's a girl drink, and I sent it to her. And he was forbidden. And it was like a fucking pounder. It was a lot. Anyway.
I'm confused. Does the reciprocate mean you have to do the exact same?
No.
Or you just say a drink?
I was joking.
Oh. You correct my English so often that I don't know.
Reciprocate, I guess technically, I don't know the official meaning. I think it's like quid pro quo or tit for tat.
Yeah, drink for drink.
Exactly. I didn't have to be the exact same thing. So.
Okay. I was just worried because you correct me a lot.
You were right. I was wrong. Oh, trust me. I'll keep correcting you there, Pally. So anyway, don't you introduce the radio game? I've been talking all night.
Yeah, right. What's new? The radio game, if you are new to the podcast and you haven't got angry with this part, but we name 4 bands and try to see if any of them are on KQ92 when Jim listens to it. But we'll pick 2 bands that are legacy bands and 2 bands that are off the beaten path, not mainstream type.
Or not as frequently played, because mine are pretty. Everybody knows what I've got tonight, but I just want to get a win, man. I'm not hearing this for friendship or anything. I just want to fucking win the radio game.
Well, you know what?
I might retire. I might leave the podcast if I win the radio game.
I think at this point in our lives, waking up in the morning is a win. So take that.
I agree, 100%.
Okay, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm going to go with two bands I hate.
Well, great.
But they're very mainstream, and they're very often played on KQ.
Do they have a theme?
Yeah.
Okay.
They suck. Pink Floyd and Moody Blues.
How can you hate both of those? That's very...
It's not that I don't hate them. It's just I don't like to listen to them because their songs are so long, and the Moody Blues are terrible except for that one song.
I love both
I'm just
of
a
them.
singer in a rock and roll band. Is that the Moody Blues?
Yes.
Yeah, then all the other songs are fucking terrible.
Wow.
Okay, what do you got?
He just brings that up because I brought those guys up that they were one of my favorite groups. Okay, we'll go on. I'll go the band and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, I can't think of whose mainstreams are worse. I'm going all female, off the beaten paths. I'm going with Joan Jett and Pat Benatar, and I think I'm going to win tonight. What do you got?
Did Joan Jett do anything without the Blackhearts?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Was she in the Runaways?
She was in the Runaways, but she was not a singer. I mean, I think she was not the main singer. It was like Candy something was the Runaways singer. But she's been putting it out since 79, 80.
Phrasing.
As Joan Jett. No, as she's been putting music out as Joan Jett and or the Blackhearts for 40, hold on. Carry the two, like 43 years.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the Blackhearts are still there, if they're...
I think they're down to one heart. And Joan Jett and the Black Heart. Oh, it's so sad. And it's just her and the drummer. And it's like, you know what this song could really use? A little bass. No, sorry. 1997. Anyway, what do you got?
Okay, I got 10 Years After.
Oh, Alvin Lee?
And Johnny Winter Band.
I will give you either Edgar or Johnny.
Well, mine were also...
What does the Johnny Winter Band ever do?
I have no idea. But Edgar was...
Edgar Winter did Frankenstein.
Yes.
I don't know what Johnny Winter did, but I know they were both like albinos or something.
They were both albinos.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Do you know the theme of my 4 picks?
I can take a wild guess. What was the one before Johnny Winter?
10 Years After.
Y'all played at Woodstock.
Correct. 4th day. The last day of Woodstock.
Wow. Oh, my. I'm listening to the radio. The Mark's cool little transistor radio. And, yeah, it's a band no one has ever picked. So we will come back to the radio game. But who was on the radio now was Poison. Every rose has a thorn. What has happened to KQ?
Oh, I know it.
Good Lord.
I
What
mean,
are you trying to be KS95?
Wow.
Cool 108?
I don't know.
That's awful. Well, you only missed it by about 180 degrees by picking your Woodstock bands there, Marco.
I thought that Johnny Winter was going to win.
Name me one Johnny Winter song.
I have no idea.
How would I know it's Johnny Winter? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I didn't even know Edgar had a brother that had a band.
Do you have Google?
Who?
I know you're busy.
Who is Google?
I know your Google is, they warmed up Poison. I mean, I might start guessing Bret Michaels and, and all associated acts at this point, but I'm disappointed that it was Poison.
But don't take it out on me. For goodness
Take it
sake.
on you brought this shit on by bringing us back to the 60s. So, all right. So, I have to tell you something that I think was...
Is this errors and omissions?
No, do you want to do those?
No.
I have an errors and omissions. A glaring one. By the way, last episode, if you're still hearing this, that means that we didn't get sued by Shark Tank. Thank goodness, because I went a little off. But not about Shark Tank, just about the whole travesty that there's not an invention that can save people from not dying when they wank it. So
you're saying you're apologizing and then repeating it.
I'm apologizing and mad that I haven't received some kind of a congressional award for my bravery by bringing up this topic. People are suffering in silence, Mark, in closets and hotel rooms everywhere, and I think that we should, bring this out into the light.
For all those hanging naked.
Oh my God!
I'm for you right now.
Do yourself a favor. Just put a shirt on. Then they won't say you were found hanging naked. They would just say you were found hanging with a heart on. And anyway.
Or have that rule that if you die, there's someone close to you that will come in and fix everything so it doesn't go down as bad.
I gotta tell you, buddy, I think we're pretty good friends, but I'm not signing up for that one. Who would do that? So I would say to you, hey, Mark, I'll be in here just for a sec. If I don't come out until Wednesday, cut me down and then call my family.
No, you hear that I pass before anybody else, and you'll rush over there and, like the old saying, clear the browsing history, clean up anything that's bad.
It's not that old a saying because of the internet and everything, but...
It's not that old?
Like an old saying would be like a stitch in time saves nine. And here's not an old wives' tale. Oh, clear your internet history if you're into some weird shit before you suit up.
But you have to have one of those best friends that will take care of that. I thought I had one, but it sounds like I don't.
I'll tell you right now, I want to avoid that kind of friend so I can stay out of that kind of activity.
But no one's going to
help. If I had a friend that would do that, you'd almost be begging me to do that kind of shit. But I don't do that stuff. I'm a
pescatarian.
A Presbyterian, actually, in this case, which is how I was raised, and we don't do that. We do different stuff, but another podcast for that, another episode for that. So, errors and omissions. Also, again, thank you for being understanding in the whole Lord's Dinner thing. That was not trying to be sacrilegious. I am a pescatarian, I'm a Christian, and I do believe in the Last Supper and all that stuff. So we're just having a little fun. But when I said that we were talking about Ann Wilson and Hart, and that I said, do you remember the Kennedy Center's honors for the Rolling Stones, and it was for Led Zeppelin?
Right, because the Rolling Stones did not play Stairway to Heaven.
Exactly. There were a lot of different ways to know that was the wrong thing, so my bad. I was so hopped up on the goofballs or whatever you call whatever fucking Michael Hutchins balls. But, and you called him Michael Hutchinson. I'll just, I'll cover you on that one. Other than that, I was flawless on the last episode.
Did I still don't know if it's Hutchinson or Hutchins.
It's Michael Hutchins.
Oh, okay.
And you're telling me that Bob Geldof lured his girlfriend away?
He did.
I would leave my wife for Michael Hutchins. That was a good-looking man.
And I think he actually called his ex like the day prior or that night that he passed away.
That's not good.
No.
Well, don't get in a fight with your wife. Well, if you get in a fight with your wife, call me up. I'll come and take your belts away.
Well, Bob Geldof is not going to be that friend that you want to come and help you out.
I'll tell you, should we just call Bob Geldof right now? Hey, Bob Geldof, you fucking suck. Come on the Ascertainers and debate us and tell us why you did that. Why did you kill Michael Hutchins?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that should get the Shark Tank lawyers off the scent, don't you think? Okay, anyway.
I don't know. Geldof would probably sue us before.
Geldof's got... Well, come take my wife, please. Just kidding.
Who is that? Benny...
It was
Henny Youngman?
Is
that his name?
It was Henny Youngman. But Michael Scott on The Office. Hey, come take my wife, for example. That's one of the funniest things on TV. Go. What do you got?
People who know Henny Youngman are, wow, you are old. But
Henny Youngman. He's up there with Milton Berle.
I think he's even older than Milton.
He is, but what was Milton Berle's best line?
I don't know.
I just put a miniature size. It was just Halloween this week.
And he's been chewing into the mic, which you
I
probably
wouldn't
heard
eat,
all
but
the
I'm
time.
out of. This is my last piece of candy, but it's a big one. So why don't you tell your thing, and then I'll come back and tell you the Milton Berle story that I think is everyone knows it by now. I mean, I won't be breaking new ground, but you go.
Jimi Hendrix was American,
So he was.
and he lived in Seattle. He was born in Seattle, but he died in England. And I was going to bring up, we were doing first albums, debut albums, but I thought I was going to bring up AC/DC Back in Black, because that was an awesome album with
A new singer.
Brian Johnson. Yeah.
Yes.
It was probably their best album. There were no non-hits on that one.
I would. It's hard to argue against that, but I would say that Highway to Hell is a far better album.
Oh, okay.
But fact of the matter is, you thought AC/DC was done, and then they come out with this monster, so you're happy.
Yeah, and it was a monster. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Yep.
That.
I mean, they had, put it this way, it charted where none of their other shit charted. Charted. That's what you did, didn't you, on the way home in the car? Hit that bump, mark charted.
Sharded. I would like to do a shout out to Charlie, because he made a comment on us. He's not a fan of the Almond Joy. Going back to the candy.
Chuck, the only winner of the radio game, Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah, Charlie's a good man.
So.
Do you think that's what he meant, though? Or he said, he literally said, who...
Well, he gave 2 thumbs down to the Almond Joy.
So he does not feel like a nut.
No.
But what about Mounds? You think he likes Mounds?
I don't know. Maybe I'm belching and I don't want to. But I don't think maybe he's a coconut fan and he doesn't want it disturbed with other flavors.
What did you used to bring from Hawaii back when you were making that run?
Macadamia nuts. Chocolate covered macadamia
But
nuts.
was there no coconut in that?
No.
So just a big chunk of chocolate with a nut in it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's nothing wrong with that. You looked at me like, yeah, so.
No, it sounded dirty.
Well,
I guess everything you say sounds dirty. No, I bring it back for my wife. She loved those. And I think I brought your family back packet once in a
you
while.
brought me back a mouthful of those chocolatey nuts once, and I appreciate that. I think it's for letting your dog out or something.
We never had a dog, but we did have a rabbit.
So and I know I never looked after your rabbit. Your rabbit liked to eat cilantro.
So one day...
what if your rabbit had the soap gene and it just would eat it just to make your wife happy? Oh, this tastes like shit. You know, some people can't eat cilantro because it tastes like soap. That's
never
a
heard
genetic
that before.
disposition or predisposition.
I just remember your oldest son showing up at our door with a rabbit he's holding, a large rabbit. He goes, "Is this yours? I found this
Was it dead?
in our garage." No, but it was a wild rabbit, and it was so docile. He's just holding it, and Diane goes, "No."
I don't remember that. Wow. I didn't get bit. Maybe he did. Maybe he got the vampiric gene that day.
No, he goes, "Oh, I thought this was yours. It was so docile." And he was just holding it, petting it, and it was fine.
What's that Monty Python deal? It's a rabbit. Your teeth this big.
It's a killer. Count to 3.
I don't want to tell you about the rabbit story. So before we had a deck, we had this octangular, or no, it was 6-sided picnic table. What would that be? A sectangular?
Yes.
Uno, dos, tres. Anyway, and there was a rabbit underneath it. It was just kind of mocking us. And I took my...
Oh, don't say it, or my wife...
She knows about this. I took my bow out that I shoot deer with. And it was just a field tip. It wasn't like a broadhead or nothing. I don't think. Oh, I think it might have been a broadhead. A dull one, like one that I target practice with. And the 1 in a million. It was a very small target, and I shot under the picnic table and hit. So you have to understand the physics of the situation here. It was not like, oops, I shot. It was like
You aimed.
I
And
I regretted it as soon as my fingers left the string, and and it just kind of was like running.
So
as if it wasn't hit by an arrow. It was
you regretted it and were kind of proud of the awesome shot.
It was very much like Chevy Chase after he when his kid goes, "Geez, Dad, you must have jumped this car about 50 yards."
That's nothing to be proud of.
50 yards. Yes, that's exactly. How do we get on this?
I don't know.
Well, let's backtrack. This is what we're famous for. By the way, we had a tight intro. We did a Newt's promo. And, look at where we are on the time.
Oh, we were doing errors and omissions.
We were. And
I did a shout out to Charlie. But let's...
That's how I think Charlie was the last thing we were at. And somehow it wound up with a rabbit. A rabbit. Pets? Oh! I was asked by, Jason, one of our guests. He and his wife, Angie, are on vacation. And yesterday, Angie sent me a text saying, "Hey, would you mind rolling our garbage cans back up after the garbage man comes?" And
is that code?
Which I did. Yeah, I know. Which I did. But I was very tempted to send her a text saying what I said to Jason, because Jason then texted me the next day, says, "Hey, if you get a chance, can you do that?" And I said, I texted him. I said, Angie already asked me, and I almost sent you a picture, or sent her a picture that it had been done, but I thought it would be bad form to have a picture of your wife's cans on my phone. And luckily he found that funny. Otherwise, we would have had some
Well,
issues.
he knows you.
Yes. So he laughed at. So I've got a... I don't have an iPhone, so I don't get I don't have the ability when someone sends a text and they just go, emphasized or liked or laughed at a text. I have to actually say LOL. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
So frustrating. I should just get an iPhone, but I don't think I'm smart enough.
I don't know if you're not.
Well, I wasn't looking for you to go, yeah, Jim, you're plenty smart, because you have the same phone as I do.
Were you fishing that? For fishing for
I was not fishing. I would not. I know better than to do that around you. But anyway, I cut you off.
Well, we brought up AWA, and I said Mad Dog Vachon was my favorite. But looking back, I think Baron von Raschke was my favorite.
Baron was amazing. I think he was like a teacher.
Was he
like
really?
He had his day job or whatever he did before that. He was like a teacher.
But he had a great raspy voice.
Yes, he did.
And it was just perfect.
They just stuck with their characters so well. I saw the East-West Connection on recently, like I think maybe this week or last week, and you love him or hate him, but Jesse Ventura was so perfect. He's like, check out that latissimus dorsi gene, and he'd kind of fucking flex the wrong muscle and shit, and he goes, you ever seen a pair of lateral deltoids like this? And yeah, he was just
I ain't got time.
fantastic.
But anyways, isn't it the 25th anniversary of coming up of him being elected governor?
It must be. It would have been before I moved to the neighborhood.
Wasn't it 98?
Could have been, yeah.
So
I remember I fell asleep on the couch in our old house when that couch was like a fucking futon in this little built-on room. And I remember waking up at like 2 a.m. and it's him doing his... I always knew, people, that he's doing his acceptance speech. And I'm like, am I dreaming this? There's no fucking way. I voted for him. I voted for him, same reason I voted for Trump. It's because I'm just sick of... I just want to see what can a regular guy do. I mean, how badly can he fuck it up? And Jesse didn't fuck it up too bad, although he gave us a bunch of the surplus back, which really is our money anyway. So maybe he should have. The current guy took our surplus, spent it, and then taxed us higher for more surplus. So fuck that guy. Jesse, we need you. Come back.
But when you were watching that acceptance, were you waiting for Mean Gene?
Adrian Adonis to walk up?
Or just Mean Gene to hold the mic and put it up to him?
I was worrying if who was the guy? Bobby Heenan to come up and challenge him to like a weasel suit match. We used to go see, I know we've said this before, but we used to love, in Rochester, the Mayo Civic Auditorium, we get that all-star wrestling shit, and it was just so old-fashioned.
Right.
I mean, honestly, there was not lights flat. It was just good old, you knew the rivalry because you watched on Sunday morning or Saturday night, whenever that aired in your neighborhood or whatever. But, yeah, there was some good. Mean Gene Okerlund is one of my favorite personalities in my life.
Who was the one before that? Floyd or before me, Gene? The other guy, yeah.
Oh, the guy with the beard?
No, it was another guy that was... He was the main one, and then Mean Gene, he got older, and Mean Gene...
Well, you're older than me, so maybe I don't remember this guy because I'm a little younger.
I have to look that up.
Please do, yes. And then there was a guy after him called Ken Resnick, and he was like the weatherman in Rochester before he got the wrestling gigs. It was like, come on, Ken, we're not buying this.
Yeah, but that would be a much cooler.
But he tried really hard, and it's good. I think Ken had a little... he was a good guy. He had allergies certain times of the broadcast. Oh my, we're so dead. This
all right.
Good. Previously, statute of limitations.
I had a subject that I was going to bring up, but I thought I'd save that for when we have a guest.
Yeah, totally do. I have one, though.
Let's do one.
Do you want to do yours? Or?
No, let's do a music one, though. You have.
Oh, actually, my what I had was two things, and they kind of lead into each other. This isn't really music related, but I will want to listen to one more song. We're gonna try to.
I know we do say we're a music podcast, but we'd like to just talk about other things that would growing up that we.
Right, and this is right up there. By the way, Fleetwood Mac was on the radio, so no winners this week. So, I think there are two stages in a adolescent's life. There's the before you could drive, and there's the after you could drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question this week is: before you could drive. So let's say you were in the 7th or 8th grade. What did a Friday night look like? The average Friday night look like for you? Did you have a routine? Was it just hanging out and helping your mom fold socks? Was it? Did you have buddies you ran with?
You know, I had pretty strict folks, so yes, it was more the folding socks. Unfortunately, yeah, I was.
Unfortunately for this podcast, because that's not very good content.
It is not. I was a boring kid growing up.
So you hung out at the house. Your buddy, what did your buddies do?
The summer would be different.
There we go. Okay.
I would be on my bike with my next door neighbor, ODS, and he was a year older, so I got to learn things from him.
So would you, because you grew up in the Twin Cities, and I grew up in a town of like 50,000 people, pretty small town as what Rochester was at the time. So did you go like into the cities or into Minneapolis, or did you just hang around your neighborhood?
I grew up in Northeast.
You rode bikes, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty good at it.
How far did you go on a Friday night? Or whatever, during the summer, any night during the summer?
Usually it was to AudiS's older, not very far, because we lived in Northeast Minneapolis where you were pretty close to everything anyways. So we would never go downtown.
You kind of stuck in your neighborhood. You didn't venture out, or did you ever want to, or you just were like, fuck it, we got everything you need here?
I grew up in St. Anthony and hang down in the Edison High School area, which was a lot more wild than...
Like riding your bike, how far is that from the house?
Oh, I don't know, 5 miles, 7 miles, something like that. Not very far.
Okay, that would be the same as walking or driving, meaning how long would it take you on your bike? I said it wrong.
And not very long, because I grew up in a urban area, so that you would go from one neighborhood to the other neighborhood pretty quick. It was kind of
seamless kind of thing. Speaking of units of measure, we were out at dinner tonight with our guy Todd, and Todd's talking about, oh yeah, my daughter bought a horse, And old fucking Green Acres over here is like, oh, how many hands is that horse? And I, are you shitting me? And Todd's like, oh, he's 15 now, but he'll be about 17 and a half. And I'm like, looking at Mark going, are you, fuck you. You don't know. Oh, pardon me. That was rude. I don't like saying that. So if you, instead of editing it, please amplify that. But so you're a big hands guy. Mark, how many hands is this beer?
The hand is, what? 1 1/4.
This can?
Yeah. 1 1/4 hand.
I don't know. I'll take your word for it there.
It's an old British measurement of horses.
Oh, it's British, you say?
I believe so.
If you, as George Costanza says, it's not a lie if you believe it. So that's good. So anyway, enough about the measurements. But I remember I did have to point that out, how just you kind of slid that into the conversation like you had a couple yourself. Like, oh yeah, well I like mine about 14 3/8 hands.
Don't make fun of me because I'm
and you're like, hey,
well learned.
I'd like another acre of beer, please. Can you hook me up with a light year of mozzarella sticks? These are all units of measure.
Okay, so getting off of me, as you should, because it's starting to hurt. But
that's how you know it's working.
How were you? What did you do growing up? The pre-driving age. It was much more exciting than mine.
So where we lived, well, Rochester peeps. Shout out to Elton Hills Drive, right by Elton Hills Elementary School. And we would do a couple of things. There's one thing I'm kind of famous for. I'll say that in a sec. Famous among my loser group that we hung out with. And I'd say loser in the most loving way because I'm still friends with most of them. But we used to like walk about, I think it's like 1.5 miles, close to 2 miles. We'd walk to the pizza place, and then we would hang out and like get 5 guys on a small pizza or a medium pizza, and each get like a slice. And there was the one guy that always took the big piece, or would like lick his finger, and that's like some dumb shit like that. And then we would not get chicks, and then we would all walk home, and no wonder we were skinny. We were fucking walked everywhere. But,
oh yeah, of course.
So there's one night, well, I actually have two. I had one thing I had written down as a note for this. So then when we got older, we just used to drive to the same pizza place. It was called Waldo's. Shout out Waldo's. Just
and
whatever.
then drive home after you didn't pick up any women again.
If you know, you know. No, you wouldn't drive directly to or from Waldo's. You would just end up at Waldo's. You would, when you could drive, that's a whole nother story. And I want to ask you about that. Living in the cities, which is a completely different environment than in Rochester, but so you would cruise Broadway. So you just drive out, and you see someone standing around, you might stop by and say hi, otherwise you'd like honk at someone, and then but there was kind of that one part where it's like, ooh, it's like Grease or some shit, like, oh well, God, if our car breaks down, we're dead, because we're on the other side of the tracks and shit. But so 2 things. One, which do you want to hear about the time that me and my buddies got a 6-pack of 3-2 beer, or the time that my buddy peed in a beer bottle? Which story do you want to hear? Because we'll do one, and then we'll talk about something else, and then we'll come back if we have time and talk about the other.
The first one, the non-peeing one.
Okay. So, my buddy Ange, we're past the Audis. I mean, if we just go first name, we're fine. And then John, who was kind of borderline Audi, Chumley, depending on who you ask and when they ask, and if you ask about his wedding or not. Anyway, so the 3 of us got a 6-pack of Howenstein 3-2 beer. Okay? You with me so far?
I am.
Warm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Non-refrigerated, because we were like
yeah,
probably 14, 15 years old. And we drank those beers and then did our, bike down to the pizza place. And apparently, it's been brought to my attention that I said that hey guys, slow down. I don't want to pedal off my buzz on 2 warm Houndstein 3-2 beers. I was like kind of worried that I was going to like not enjoy the whatever fucking moment of euphoria that I should have been experiencing. So they got a pretty good kick out of that. Yeah.
Were you experiencing anything, do you think?
Probably. I didn't weigh very much back then.
It
was probably as much placebo, as kind of the bubbles go into your head.
Is that like drinking? Because one night we did the malt liquor and drank it. We were like in 8th grade in straws, and then blew up balloons because they said if you get the lightheaded, it would hit you harder.
I heard the whole drinking out of the straw was a thing. I never blew into a balloon, though. Did it work?
No, but blowing up the balloons and then, sitting on them and popping them was kind of fun. So maybe you thought you were drunk doing that?
Well, you could hyperventilate you get a big enough balloon, you don't even need the malt liquor. Well, also, if you're drinking malt liquor, you're halfway home.
Well, we only had like 2 for 4 people.
Do you know what made it malt liquor versus beer?
I don't.
I think it's the alcohol content. The malt liquor was strong.
It was very strong.
I drank I had an encounter with probably 6-pack of old English 800s.
Ooh.
That caught me a bit by surprise, so that wasn't very good.
They didn't taste good.
No.
To me.
I didn't have a taste for beer at all. I just liked the effect.
Well, even the malt liquor.
It wasn't like, God, I can't wait to, get old so I can get off work and have a beer, and just sit there and with my beer and drink it casually. And so I'm just like, it was like coffee back then. I was like, ugh.
Oh,
how can people fucking like coffee?
I like beer, but I didn't like malt liquor.
Do you have a type of booze that you just, if you smell it now, you still have like some kind of faint memory of, ugh?
Well, everyone has a tequila story, but other than, not really.
I have a Southern Comfort story. I had a half pint. Remember the half pint?
Oh, yeah.
So I had a half pint of Southern Comfort, and I poured it all into a can of Mellow Yellow. So I drank just enough of the Mellow Yellow. It was kind of like, oop, not enough. So and I literally drank 8 ounces of Southern Comfort like you would drink a Gatorade.
Ooh.
And that was the first time I ever heard the Back in Black album. It was at that party and somebody had that.
Do you hate that album now?
I don't. I don't associate the music with it as much as the smell or color of or anything associated with that sticky, syrupy liqueur that is Southern Comfort. And I did throw up in a garbage can in someone's parents' bedroom. I didn't go balls out and do it like on the bedding or anything. I hit the garbage can, but not a cool thing to do. Oof, my God. And if I tell the other story, it doesn't sound as bad.
Well, save it.
Well, I feel like I should probably fit it in.
Well,
we're right at time. I forgot I have to add minutes, so yeah. I'll save this story. I want everyone to clamor for the time that my buddy peed in a beer bottle and what happens next.
Oh, people are just waiting for that story.
They're clamoring. I like a good clamor. Anyway, this is fun. I hope it was fun for you. Thank you so much for listening. Honestly, we just do this. We're so glad that we can just do this and have something to do on Friday night. But thanks to Mark for coming up with the idea. And
wow.
That's all I got.
With that, I'll say goodbye.